So I've been running my regular classic Aces for over 2 years. I've tried tons of different trucks. I tried Lurpiv, independent. I just love Aces too. I do like Lurpiv. We'll get into that. That's the story for another day. Why, where they're at. They're coming back, I think. Don't worry about it. But yeah, I really wanted to try the AF1s, Ace's new truck, and compare them to the classics. As you can see, I've grinded those down quite a bit. So we're going to be comparing them in this video. Talk about who Ace trucks might be for. If you're thinking about getting them, hopefully this video will be for you, or tell you if they're not for you, as well as just compare them to the classic and see if they're worth the more money, see if there's an upgrade. Obviously they got the reed threader and stuff. I've heard a lot of really good things, so I'm not bunking them, I'm just saying I haven't skated them, so I don't know yet. We're here at MLK skate park in Oceanside, so that's where I'm going to be breaking these bad boys in. First things first, I gotta take off my old trucks, put on these new ones. Also, my buddy Jay, he gave me some acid chemical wheels. I'm kind of hyped to try these out. My OJs did get flat spotted eventually, but I was pushing. That's another video for another day. I'm going to talk about OJs and their flat spots. I have some more coming. I really do like OJ, but I'm going to try out these acid wheels as well. So I'm going to be setting these up with my new AF1s, and then we'll get a little break-in session. I'll get some more skating on these too before I give you like initial thoughts of what I think about them, but we're just going to break them in today. We'll get a couple more sessions, and then I'll talk about the specs also, because I think there are some different specs compared to the classic Aces. So they're a little bit different than these regular Aces if you had these before. And if you haven't had these, that's all right. This video still can be good for you if you were thinking about buying some new trucks or just enjoy skateboarding. Let's get into it. Back in California, it's a heat warning today, extreme heat warning. Of course, it's gonna be a heater. So yeah, let's get these trucks off. A lot of people are scared that Aces are too loose, like you have to ride loose trucks. The one thing that I did a lot, very often, or pretty much always do, is lose hardware in the grass. I try to break in my truck by not tightening them or loosening them right away. Like I just ride them as they come. However, I think with Aces that might be really hard because they naturally come kind of loose. I think that's just like their thing, but I do think you can ride them tight. I think there's a false idea that just because they market loose trucks that you can only skate them loose. I have no front or back truck right now. That's kind of interesting. It becomes harder once you get that nice back truck groove. I'm gonna have to switch off my wheels after I get these trucks on there. Now, I get these bad boy wheels, get my bearings out of these wheels. I'm actually gonna set these trucks up on my other Life skateboards. All right, there's their new nut too. It looks really cool. It looks like, has this like sort of, what would you call that? Like a non-stripper mechanism, has like a little plastic part of it, which I think is really nice. This plastic is really hard to get open. All right, acid chemical wheels, plastic is really good. That's it, baby. Look how good that board looks. That sick lovesick deck, Santa Cruz rails, acid chemical wheels, the Ace trucks. I got the Bronson bearings in there. Things feeling good. The trucks do look a little smaller. Oh wow, they're way too small. Wait, did I get the wrong trucks? 55. Why do they look so much smaller? Damn. All right. Well, it said 8.5 on their website, and this board is 8.5. It's definitely not fitting to what I would like on an 8.5. I swear it said on the website, Ace Truck said 8.5. This board's an 8.5, but it's like hovering. All right, I'm not getting upset. It's kind of a shame how much smaller they are. So first impressions right away, I guess, is that make sure you get a bigger size, I guess. So if you normally ride 55s, maybe step it up to 66. Maybe that's on me, I don't know. But I'm sure I'm not the only person that's made that mistake. So I'm just gonna let you know now. Let's go over to the park. I won't be too upset about it and ride this board. I was so stoked and I got so bummed once I noticed the size. I can't do it. So basically, I just feel like they're too small, they're too skinny, and I don't want to ride them and then not be able to exchange them. So I hit up Ace Trucks on Instagram. I just said, hey, is there any way I can exchange these for some 60s? Because I think the 60s are for an 8.75. This is an 8.5 board still, but what they explained to me is that it is for an 8.5 axle to axle. So they're not saying that this is for an 8.5 board, they're just saying the width of it is exactly to an 8.5, which does look to be true, a little bit off. That's just me. And the one thing I would say is kind of subjective how you like your trucks. I like to see the nuts on the side of my trucks ever so slightly so it doesn't have that hover effect. But Ace did say that they're going to send me some 60s, so I'm super thankful. We're going to have to put my other trucks back on for the meantime. Or actually, you know what? Since they're sending me some and they're letting me keep these, which is really rad, appreciate y'all. Let's try these out anyways. Alright, so I've been skating my Ace AF1s for a couple weeks now. I want to give you a little bit of update, what I think about them, what you should consider before updating. Also check out the gas station sunnies. I got these in like Central California recently. Went on a quick little road trip with my wife. But yeah, I want to kind of give you an update. Before we do that, I'm going to get a session here at MLK. One more session before I tell you about these trucks, because there's some pros and some cons. This isn't so much a review on the trucks because I'm still waiting for the proper size. I did DM Ace and they said, hey, we're going to send you an extra set the size that you want. Don't worry about sending them back. So that's super rad. Although I kind of wanted to just send them back and get them back really quick. It's been a week, a little over a week since they said they're going to send them. Not a big deal. So I will give an updated video with an actual review on these trucks once I get more time on them. But I have had a couple weeks, so I do know what I do have a couple things. My point is, like, this isn't so much a review overall on the F1s. This is more about upgrading from the classics to the AF1s, and I think there's some nuances and some things you should consider before updating. Something I wanted to do was actually change out the bushings from my classics to the AF1s, but now that I'm waiting for the proper size, or what in my opinion is the proper size, let's get into a session. My homie Tadashi up in the Bay Area, he makes like lens covers and stuff. He sent me this. It's like a little Tadashi beanbag, which is really rad because I can get the super low angles. I haven't used it too much though. I'm gonna try it on this session. Let me know what you think of these angles. right, so that was definitely the most terrifying invert attempt I've ever done. I fully went for it and just like power slid on the bottom. I've been riding this 8.5 board. I think I've come to a realization after that, and some other inverts and just different tricks, that 8.5 is too small for me. I need to be riding an 8.75 for sure. Next board's gonna be 8.75. I just really want to support Lovesick. I made a video all about this board. I'll leave a link up above. But yeah, let's get into these H trucks, what I've learned so far, what I don't like, and what I do like about them. When you don't do a trick like an invert and you're power sliding at the end, it's my fault. It's not product's fault. It's never product's fault. I gotta get this helmet off me. This is so bad. You guys made some good recommendations for the sweat issue, so I'm gonna work on those. So the first issue I have with these trucks, to be honest, is the sizing. Obviously, we talked about that earlier in the video. I mentioned it. It's kind of upsetting. I mean, it's a significant difference. Like, these aren't even on there. They're just sitting on there. Hopefully you can see kind of like where the wheel would be sitting. You know what I mean? That's a pretty big difference in sizing, and these are the same size. So that's the first thing, and I think it's important to address in this video. Hopefully you watch this video before you buy these, or you're watching it to upgrade. Make sure if you're riding 55s, which is the classic 55s, make sure to get the 60s, because I think those are going to be like a more similar size, and that's what Ace is sending me. They said they're going to send me some 60s, and hopefully those fit on my 875 to the point I just made a second ago. 55s, in my opinion, are, I mean, so the idea is that they're all the way 8.5 axle to axle, and that's what Ace explained to me. And I don't think they're wrong in that. I think it is, but I think the bigger overarching problem is that truck size to board is pretty subjective. So I think, like, they say this fits in 8.5. The reality is it's literally 8.5. So in my opinion, I think you want a little bit of nut outside of the board, and that's just what I like. I like to see my wheels ever so slightly. Right now, if you look directly down on this board, you don't see your wheels. You have to like kind of go to the side to see your wheels. Think about it as like Formula One cars. Like their tires are wider because they get more control. They get sharper turns. They have like less friction, and it's just like, I don't know, physics. It just works better. I don't want to dive into all of why you need wider trucks in your board, but I personally like my wheels to be sitting at the edge of the deck, not under it. So right now they're sitting under it, and the nuts kind of sitting almost at the edge, not entirely the edge. So that's the issue with the size, and I understand that like everyone likes their trucks to sit differently on their board. So that's the issue. Like, if Ace, Independent, Lurpiv, anybody's going to say, hey, these trucks fit in 8.5, I think they also have to add that, you know, what they think is fitting, almost, like, as hard as that is. And that's the hard part with truck sizes. They all have different sizes, different dimensions, and it becomes a big cluster. And the bigger problem is that, like, you don't even know how to match them up with boards. Like, this is so complicated. I've been skating forever, so this whole like change of size doesn't make much sense to me. I don't know why any truck company would do that with a different product. So if you have one product, you make another product, to change the size just seems weird to me. But a lot of people probably already know this. If you go on their website, it says it, it's clear. I just it's my fault. I just bought them. So that's the biggest issue, is the size. Also, something I noticed is they don't churn side to side as good as I would like, but I think that has a lot to do with the bushings. It just feels like really stiff when I'm trying to churn to the side. But if I turn back, like if I'm like lifting up and I'm turning, I get that nice deep carve. So like if I'm 5-0ing or manuing, I can get it. But if I'm just trying to carve on flat, like left and right, I feel like it's just not as sharp as the classics. And again, I think that could come down to the bushings. So if you're updating, hopefully all of this information gives you some insight on what to do, what to purchase. Overall, the trucks grind really good. They grind really fast. It's nice because I don't have a groove in them at all, but I noticed they do lock in really good. Again, the small trucks is hard because even doing pivots on certain things, like there's really round coping over in the other part of the skate park. I like a really wide truck because I get more axle to lock into my pivot. With these skinnier trucks, you have to be more precise. I know this video is turning into like why ride wider trucks. The one last thing I will say with the Ace trucks, you can ride them tighter. I know that's like constant theory because they always push their loose trucks saves lives. Loose trucks are great. I like loose trucks, but you can tighten them down. I actually had them pretty tight. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Oh, dang. Just realized that my bearing popped out. Also, the wheels. I forgot to mention the wheels. I think they're pretty good. To be honest, they don't slide as good as I like the OJs. They slide really good and they don't get flat spots. I think the thing with these is they're so hard. They don't really have that slidability on them, but they're nice. I think for like really rough spots, they're a little bumpy. So yeah, it's not a super impressive wheel, to be honest. Sorry, Acid. I like them. They're local to Oceanside, I believe, too. But yeah, I think I still prefer the OJ Elite urethane. That wheel is just so good. I love that wheel. So Appreciate y'all. Subscribe if you're not already. See you in the next one. Mash.